All right, so I'm going to pick up here in going over the syllabus. So I know that going over the syllabus can be really overwhelming because I'm essentially presenting the entire semester to you in one shot. So if you're finding yourself feeling a little bit lost in terms of what the assignments are and what they look like, each week I will do a video where I set the stage for the week, list the assignments, explain how they'll be graded, explain the instructions, and even offer some advice for how to tackle the week. So I just want to point out a few things that I kind of just realized I had skipped over. So beside each of the assignments, I do break down the percentage of the grade that assignment consists of. So, please make sure you're aware of the weighting each of the grades receives when I calculate your final grade. Again, want to highlight that there won't be late assignments accepted for anything in this class because the goal is that you're spacing it out throughout the week. You're starting early. That way, if something comes up, you still have time to try to get things done before the deadline of Sunday at 8 p.m. each week. I also want to make sure you all know that if I need to get in touch with the entire class, what I will do is I will send a Canvas announcement. So please make sure you go into Canvas to make sure that your announcement settings are basically set up so that I don't go to junk mail, because there might be times that, for example, I'll have to adjust my office hours if I have another meeting scheduled. There might be times that, I don't know, something comes up that they, change something for campus. Like, for example, I don't know, there's been a few falls where we have a hurricane and they actually close campus down, which means they would cancel classes. So there might be times that I have to adjust my office hours or adjust assignments and deadlines. So please make sure you're keeping an eye out for any Canvas announcements that I'm making, because that is the way that I will get in touch with the class moving forward. I won't be using email. Okay, so let's keep going here. To make sure that everybody knows what's going on. So again, I will post a video where I explain just the research participation part of the grade, because that's a little bit more complicated. So I don't want to spend too much time here because there's a guideline sheet that explains it in greater detail. So I'll come back to that in a different video. Here's the grading scale. It's simply the typical UMW grading scale, nothing special or different. I just wanted to make sure you're aware how I will be grading your final grades in the class. Again, want to remind you that there won't be any late assignments. So I've listed the absences and emergency policy here. Again, want to just absolutely make sure we all understand that we need to be respectful of each other. We will be discussing very sensitive topics. We will disagree. That's the beauty of having these really cool conversations, is that we get to hear different thoughts, different opinions, different perspectives. And so the expectation is that you will have a respectful conversation, even if you disagree. If you can't do that, then you will definitely lose points on that assignment. Similar, I just want to make sure everyone knows that you are welcome in my class. I expect professionalism and respect across the class, among your classmates, regardless of who you are or who they are. I just want to make sure everyone knows that they're welcome and valued in my class. Also, if you would like me to call you a different name, or you want me to specify what your gender pronoun is, please make sure that, you reach out and I will honor, any requests that you have. If you have worked with the Office of Disability Resources and you have academic accommodations, please reach out to me as soon as possible so we can get you set up with whatever accommodations you need for my class. I will make it really clear for each assignment, what you can work with others on, what is a closed book quiz, or what, can you not receive help on, and just understand that plagiarism and cheating won't be tolerated. I included my recording policy. It doesn't totally apply to this class because we don't have any classroom sessions, but I just want to make it clear that anything I post, any recordings, any materials, those are my property. You can't distribute them, you can't sell them. That would be violating copyright law. So, certainly these videos are posted for your use as a student in this classroom. So just be mindful of that you don't distribute them in any way. Also, around midterm, I'll be posting, whether students have a satisfactory or unsatisfactory grade. So you'll get a message from academic services. So if your grade is below a 70, you will receive an unsatisfactory at the midterm point. And what I would ask is just that you set up a meeting with me, maybe during office hours, so that we could talk about ways that you could maybe study differently or approach the class more effectively. So here's the schedule. Again, what we have is we have 14 modules. So each week you'll be doing a module with the exception of, for example, Thanksgiving break. So generally each week will be very similar, and I'll make sure that you know any differences that are coming up. So each Sunday at 8 p.m., the module for that week will unlock. And so what I mean by that is if you go back to Canvas, you can scroll down. This module isn't 100% complete. For example, it's missing the welcome video. I haven't done that yet, but this is generally what it's going to look like. So there'll be a bunch of files listed, and once you watch that welcome video or summary video for the week, you'll understand what all of these are, when they're due, what the instructions are, and how they will be graded. So there'll be a number of activities you're expected to complete each week. So at 8 p.m. on Sunday, that module will unlock. I just ask that you watch the welcome video, and then at that point try to devise a plan or a schedule of how you're going to complete things during that week, because your deadline is the following Sunday at 8 p.m. So again, as an example, Sunday, August 30th at 8 p.m., Module 2 will unlock, and then that is due September 6th at 8 p.m., which is also a Sunday. Okay? So there are, kind of a few things to note about the schedule. Here in this week, and I'll remind you this in the video, there's no discussion board and there's no class assignment for that week because the university is closed for 2 days to allow for students to move onto campus. And so because the week is shorter, I cut the activities and the assignments down. So I'll remind you of that, but that's just what that note means. Later in the semester, you'll see that we start to cover multiple chapters in a week. That's simply because there's 16 chapters. There's no way to cover all of it. It's a lot of material. And so what I'll do is I'll select out some information from a few different chapters, and it'll be clear, in the reading assignments, what you'll be reading. And again, I'll point that out in the video. And again, there's no classes during the week for Thanksgiving break. There's no assignments, no expectations. If you are bored and have time, I will probably unlock Module 14 early if you want to get started. But again, I'll revisit that later in the semester. So this is generally the class schedule, I will post any updates or any changes as things happen on campus or as the schedule needs to change or as my office hours change. But generally speaking, these are the expectations for the class. So what I'm going to do is in the next video, I'm going to talk to you about where you can find things in Canvas and just kind of point out a few other things like how to access the Revel online system. So make sure you watch that video next.